So there was a video of someone that was, his shirt was off and he was tatted up and he was saying, liberals, you're gonna, you don't want to go to the civil core situation. You don't want to do that. You don't want to. First of all, nobody's asking for that. I mean, there might be some people that are kind of instigating it, or maybe like ruffling your feathers or whatever to kind of antagonize you. But we're not asking for that. We don't want that. It's not necessary. What we get to do is have leaders that are going to bring us together, have a conversation, connect. But I know it's a reaction, right? It's a primal reaction to when all else fails to go in that direction. What we know is that even though they're telling you that this is not the left, it is not the left. Josh Shapiro, the other one, none of those were the left. The day before January 6th, they said it was all Antifa, or it was like instigators of Antifa and instigators of, FBI, or instigators of, BLM. But they pardoned all of those people. They pardoned all the Antifa. So you see, like, even that, do you remember that lie they told you? Has there been any outcome? Has there been any, like, result proving that? Do y'all remember that lie? And then now they're lying to you about this one. They're lying to you, and remember the whole Epstein files, right? They're lying to you about that. There's so many lies out there. So this guy was like, you don't want that. No, we don't want that. We don't want us to be fighting among ourselves. But the powers that be want us to be. The powers that be want that to be instigated. There's a lot of questions out there that are not being answered by the people that said, no matter what, we're going to get to the bottom of it and we're going to answer those questions. There's a lot. Nothing has resulted in answers. Do you think after 4 years of them having time off and then 7 months having control of all three branches of government, that they could have provided, that the first thing that they would have provided was proof of the January, or the, got a text. Proof that the 2020 election was stolen. There's no proof. That would have been the first thing I would have done. Bam, here it all is. I haven't done it. So, with that in mind, we don't want to be fighting with you. We understand. Sorry, somebody keeps texting me. We understand that the bigger picture is that the top is getting us to fight. The powers that be. If someone is a multi-billionaire and telling you that person next to you is the enemy, and sitting in their tower and going, you guys fight, where do you think they're going to be? They're going to be sitting in their tower watching it happen. January 6th, I'll be there with you at the Capitol. Where was he? Watching it on TV? Watching all of us get at each other's throats? Can you not see? Can you not see that that's who's doing this? So no, we don't want that. And to that person, I'm not going to play it because it really, I have this automatic deflection. I have this automatic wall for this kind of ignorance and just hate and just macho, I have a wall, so I don't want to play it. But I know people like you. And what I know about people like you, and they're in my family, I've lived with them in the rural communities that I've lived in, is that once they get to know someone like me, once they get to experience, I'm going to give you all the look. I'm going to give you the look. Once you get to know someone like me, your guard comes down. You're like, oh, I didn't know that you were like this. Literally happened to me the last, place that I lived. Someone like this came to me and shared with me how much the way I treated them changed their entire perspective on people like me, who they thought I was. If you're out there and you have an assumption of who someone is, yes, there's going to be, we can pick and choose. And certainly the powers that be are wanting us to think that all of us are a certain way and putting us against each other. Do you really think it is true? Do you really think that it is true that a country can be this divided? Truly divided? No, we're not. But you're believing something to be true that is not true. I'm being told to believe something about you. What I know about you and people like you is that once you meet someone like me, your entire perspective changes. You start going, well, you know what? Actually, universal health care is that's probably a good thing. The look I always get, and I'll end it at this. The look I always get has a combination of 3 or 4 factors. 1, curiosity. Number 2, it's curiosity, it's judgment, and then amusement. It's curiosity, judgment, amusement, and then disgust. Upon looking at me or seeing me, right? It is, somebody's creative, maybe a little effeminate, who's gay. They know that I'm gay, right? And so the look is always, it's like this amusement. It's curiosity first, though. It's always curiosity. Then it turns into amusement. So there's that mockery. And then mockery and judgment. And then the judgment. And then reminding themselves that they just went through the curious part. They just went through the mockery part. They just went through the judgment part. And then they remind themselves that that's a gay dude. And so therefore I must be disgusted by them. Because I've been told by the powers that be that that's probably someone that I should hate. But when you get to know me, and I open my arms up, and I say, hey man, and I hug you, we have conversation back and forth where I listen, and at first, my experience has been I get talked at, and talked to, and talked at, and talked at, and talked at. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Oh God, you think drag queens be reading books in school? Conversations can be nuanced. You're being told to believe something about me and people like me that's not true. And we can have a conversation. We can open our arms and we can hug each other. And it doesn't mean I want to have sex with you. We can actually hug each other. So no, dude. We don't want any of this. But it is a really good distraction for you to prevent yourself from having the imagination of what is possible and understand how hard it's going to be for us to get there. It's much easier for you to want to fight me.